Einstein's brain appeared much younger than his old age would suggest due to proteins. Are people high in G less susceptible to age-related G declines?
Yes, this is the cognitive reserve theory. The idea is there's a thing called system integrity, which is the ability for physiological systems to withstand the effects of aging, like the accumulation of extracellular junk, such as beta amyloid plaques in the case of neural tissue. And the resilience that tissue has reflects in a phenomenon called successful aging. So, how successfully do you age cognitively? In other words, how little does your G decline over time? Because as you get older, unfortunately, over the age of 40, your G actually starts to go down. And it is actually your G, it's not specialized abilities. The aging effect on IQ, the decline in IQ due to aging, is a Jensen effect. It's on G. So, the slope on that decline is a strong function of your ability to resist these things that damage your brain. And that means having a lot of reserve, a lot of system integrity, a lot of redundancy. It's an interesting theory because you can track that slope longitudinally over time, the age-related decline, and you can work out when people are going to die based on that slope and when it starts to potentiate. And there's a very spooky paper published by Ian Deary many years ago in which he looked at one particular measure of cognitive ability, which was simple visual reaction time. And he found that you can predict death to within 5 years of reaction times declining. So the latency increasing. And there's this inflection point, and as soon as you hit that inflection point where the reaction times start to accelerate in terms of slowing, you end up with this window in which you can predict death to within 5 years. It's very creepy.
All right, but isn't there also some idea that when people are very, very clever and they start getting cognitive decline, they have more ways of compensating for it, so they are able to cover it up better? If they get things like Alzheimer's, then they can have it for years and nobody notices.
That's right. Yes, that's the cognitive reserve model. So, the idea is that there's a lot of redundancy within the brain, a lot of ways in which the neural architecture of the brain can essentially short-circuit damaged or inebriated systems. They can get around those systems and produce a functionally passable unit of behavior. Something that looks like it approximates health is a function of how intelligent you are because it reflects things like neural plasticity, neural efficiency. So it's related to a whole bunch of endogenous features of the brain which are generally more pronounced than people with higher IQ.
It strikes me that differences in the investment into cognitive reserves could also explain the gender difference in the standard deviation of IQ.